Hi everybody, welcome to another Games Masters chat. I'm here with Fallaize and Feargus today, and any of you Games Masters in Wayfarers League, you are welcome to join us too, and that would be a nice little surprise. Today we, once again, are just going to be answering questions that anybody brings to us, and I look forward to doing that. Hey Elsador, welcome again. It's nice to have familiar people in.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got regular visitors now. Fee,
Hey,
hi.
Hello.
That's funny because my thing says that there's only one viewer, but obviously there's more than that. So.
Got 4 on the actual Twitch at the moment.
Oh,
so.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not looking at that directly.
I'm guessing only 2 of those are me and Feargus. So.
That's
2 of them,
right.
yes. One of them might be me.
OBS doesn't update the viewers count very easily. Anyway, that's kind of irrelevant. We're 5 now.
Entirely. Anyway, welcome everybody to another Games Masters chat. We're happy to answer any questions that you guys want us to answer in terms of anything to do with tabletop role-playing games, running it, playing them, any system. We will do our best to answer your questions.
Yep.
And I apologize for any loss of words because I'm very tired today. I feel like I'm always tired. Anyway. Oh, that's nice. It's part of Elsador's regular work routine.
That's really cool.
Thank you for joining us with that. That's great.
Thank you with that. That's pretty great. Yeah.
It's just feel all gooey inside.
And I actually have a question to get us started off because I feel like I'm running into a little bit of this.
Okay.
It's burnout.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you handle burnout when you have commitments as well?
This is something that I am very accustomed to because I'm never running usually less than 2 or 3 campaigns at a time. As well as all the one-shots and stuff like that. It's a real thing. Like, it's the same kind of deal as like writer's block when you're a creative writer, and there's kind of 2 approaches to it. However, with D&D, one of them is a lot harder and a lot less pleasant, which is to just push through, and just push through. Pushing through is unpleasant just because it's a very active thing and it's a very energy-driven thing, and you do just wear yourself out. But when I say push through, it's basically just allow yourself to be shit for a couple of sessions. just kind of allow yourself that break to just be bad at it for a couple of sessions, and just say to the, you can even just say to the player, just go, I'm not feeling great today, so if it's a little lackluster today, I apologize, but we'll just push through. And allow yourself that break to just kind of like go, this sucks, and I'm not there. Because once you get to a certain point, if you're like running a campaign in particular, and you push through that, you'll get to a point where you'll start to find things exciting again, and you can keep doing it. The other is literally just to take a break for a little bit.
Yeah.
And, just send a message out to your party members and just say, hey guys, I'm going to take the next couple of weeks off. So there'll be no games for the next couple of weeks, and just rest and recover, and then come back in fresh. There's, in my mind, that's kind of the only 2 real ways to deal with burnout, is either push through it or just actually rest and recover before jumping back in.
Yeah. And it's definitely needed as well, like grace periods, because I remember leading up to the 2-week break that we took on Everchosen, I was like I wasn't dreading running it because I enjoyed the group and I enjoyed the story, but on the days of and leading up, I was just like, oh, I'm running Everchosen tonight. Oh, I don't really want to do it, but I'll do it anyway because everybody's enjoying it. And then that 2-week break came, and I came back from it, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's run Everchosen again tonight. I'm loving it. I've missed the game. Yeah. And it just, sometimes it does just take hey guys, I need like 2 weeks to like sleep and not think about things to bring back your appreciation.
That's kind of one of the things, because burnout, like when you're running games and you're burnt out on it, you do run them because you feel like you're obliged to. Like, you have that feeling of, I don't want to let people down, so I'm going to do it, even though I really don't feel up to it right now. And it's not that I don't like the game, it's just that I just am not feeling it at this very moment in time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it, like, taking a break from it and then coming back to it, it works wonders on that. It's, you know, we don't want to let people down. We don't want to let, you know, disappoint our players, but that is really completely on us, because I don't know a single player out there who would kick up a fuss if you cancelled a session because you're like, guys, I'm not feeling great at the moment. I'm going to cancel the game for tonight. You know, sure, they might be disappointed, but they're not like going to be pissed off at you about it. They're just like, that sucks, but hopefully you feel better soon, because, you know, that's...
Because everybody wants to continue enjoying the game that you're running for them. So they're like, yeah, no, we understand. And sometimes I think system burnout as well is a real thing. Because I love D&D with all my heart, but I'm sick of it. Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm like, oh, I'm running D&D. And like playing other games kind of brings back that love for it, because you're like, you can appreciate the things that D&D does well and does poorly by playing other systems that do things differently, and you're just like, okay, yeah, no. So sometimes it might just be play something else, because it might not be game burnout, it might literally just be system burnout, and that's something that I have definitely run into very recently.
This is kind of a thing we talked about a lot on here, and it is, doesn't really matter what you do in 5th edition D&D, a lot of these things play exactly the same. So yeah, it does end up becoming very repetitive and strenuous for the GM in particular, because mechanically you're not doing anything different. You know, it's pretty much all monsters operate on the same principle in D&D. So what the things that you're controlling don't really have a huge amount of variety to them, even like the bits, even though they are different, it still all works the same. So yeah, taking on a different system, trying out a different system is a great way to just refresh and come in a bit better.
Yeah, I think doing different genres as well, actually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I found at one point I still do tons of D&D, but it was all fantasy based, and suddenly I was doing some sci-fi space. I'm like, this is amazing. But I love sci-fi, so not everybody does.
100%, yeah. That the change of genre is great.
Yeah.
And our sci-fi game is fantastic. But jumping into that is great. Like, it just makes it feel nice again. Like, it's like if you ate the same food every single day, and then you just get sick of it, and then it's just like having something else, even if it's like your favorite thing in the world to eat, you eventually will get sick of it if you have it every single day. And then you take time off and have different things, and then you can come back to your favorite dish and you're no longer sick of it anymore, because you've cleansed that point of your life out of it, and you've cleansed it out of your life for a period. You're refreshed and you're coming back in new, and it's really wonderful.
I think you can also actually get burnt out as a player, because I had a friend of ours, she was playing like 8 games at one point and just completely thrashed. And it's like, I think it's important as a player, because I know I have a really bad habit of this. I don't like saying, I like see things and it's like, I want to experience that and I can't say no. Learn to say no.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. It will come around again. It's okay to say
no.
Oh,
100%. It always does. It's an endless cycle, and we never learn.
Yeah.
Again, be a player, not the GM. Yeah. Just taking a break from DMing and just being a player for a little bit is a great one as well.
Yeah.
Players, if you want to do like the best thing in the world for your GMs, run a game for them.
Yeah.
Like, let them play. Because
actually run games. Like...
Yeah, because as much as we love GMing, it gets really tedious, and sometimes we're like, I just want to play. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to think about things. I don't want to have to worry about what players are doing.
It's definitely it's a different frame of mind.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. I think so. When you're a DM, obviously you're doing a lot more things. Your mind is doing a lot more things. It's a lot more involved, and you're a lot more like in it, and you have to be a lot more kind of aware of what's going on. It's a lot more, and it's a lot more stressful. It's a lot more strenuous because you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. When you're a player, you're only focusing on like the one thing, and it's a lot more relaxing. As the graces have it, thanks to Wayfarers League, all of us here, the three of us here, are all running games quite regularly, but we also play in games as well. So we do get to have those moments of just kind of like, I get to be in a game and I don't have to worry about much at all. And
yeah.
you know, it's just, and that's a very wonderful feeling to have that kind of break. But yeah, I think if you're because you get the forever GMs, and if you're a forever GM and you see this now either live on stream or you watch it later on YouTube, and you're a forever GM, come join us at Wayfarers League.
Yeah.
Wayfarersleague.com. Come join us, because you will find games where you don't have to be the GM, where you can actually just play and have fun. Not that being a GM isn't fun, it is, but it is a lot more work.
It's a different kind of fun.
Yeah,
and
also, I didn't react to. So Elsa does just put guys like, there's so much prep that you may be doing for your games. Depends on what. It depends on the game and what you are as a GM. Because I have games that I do no prep for whatsoever, and on the day I just wing it. And we've had some great moments in those games. So
yes, yeah, and like Dread, you essentially start at the beginning, and then the rest of it you're reacting to the players. There really is no prep for that either.
Oh yeah, Dread's a great system for that.
Yeah, I think I have come to the conclusion that I don't like GMing that way, because I don't think I really enjoyed. I ran Dread and it was fine. Everyone had a good time, and I also ran a one-shot recently where I didn't prep anything except the beginning. I didn't really enjoy it.
That's fair. I
think it's a different style GMing. I wrote a blog post about this as well. It's like, I'm much more the planner. I like having things set up. Not necessarily, like, I don't need to railroad my players, but I like having a plan.
I mean, that's completely valid. And like, I'm about to start running Call of Cthulhu in a couple of months, and that is that's an investigation type thing. Yeah. So I'm probably going to do more prep for that than I would for a typical D&D game, because I'm going to be having to like sort out, like putting clues in and putting bits and pieces together to make an actual like mystery and investigation and have it be coherent, because there's a lot of threads on that. Most of my D&D games, I will set up a framework of like a thing, and I've talked about this in GM's Academy, and I've talked about it on here, where I will come up with the, like, what do I want the end to be?
Yeah.
An only game I haven't really done that with is the Villains campaign, because
I was gonna guess.
Yeah, that was just letting that happen. But what do I expect the end to be? Actually, I don't do that with Dread either, because again, Dread just kind of go with the flow. What do I want the ending to be? And once I know what I want the ending to be, and when I say the ending, I mean just like, what is the final conflict going to be? Like, what is the climactic villain or battle or whatever it's going to be? What is that? Once I know what that is and kind of roughly where I want that to be, I will come up with the inciting incident to hook the party into the story. And then I kind of just let stuff happen. And at any point, we'll just try and steer the party or just guide the party very loosely towards this kind of final climactic moment.
Yeah.
How and when they get there is up to them, but it's always kind of like, It's like climate and weather, right? Like you've got climate is a straight line from one point to another, and weather goes all over the place, but it always eventually gets to this point at the same time. It's the same. It's the same basic concept.
I think that's most people, especially for long running campaigns. I think that's most people's frame of mind. You know, you have an endpoint, but your players could spend like 10 sessions in the same town doing absolutely nothing until they finally leave it at the end and get back onto their story.
I'm sensing some bitterness there, Fergus.
There's no bitterness. There's no bitterness. Only blissful relief.
Because Fergus desperate to get the Everchosen. If you haven't watched it, on Friday nights we have a campaign called Everchosen, which Fergus runs, and we stream it on Twitch, which Katie and I are in. Fergus desperate for us to continue on with the story, and we're all just going around town. Katie's character just like, there's a bunch of orphans here, I'm going to build a house for them.
Yeah.
I know
that the meme of being a DM is like herding cats. That game is quite literally herding cats.
Or chickens?
Yeah, or chickens.
Oh, chickens, yeah. The chickens.
Yeah, but that's your fault. That was a mistake. That was a mistake I made quite early on into the campaign, and I have been regretting ever since.
You should have someone steal it from her.
No, I've got a much more devious plan.
Oh, good. Okay.
Somebody stealing it from them is far too simple.
I want to say to Fee, because she says I'm trying, but it's so hard, and sorry about that, about GMing and starting GMing. Don't worry, it's not. You don't need to apologize.
I think the sorry about that is from our last Villains game.
Okay, but the trying so hard, that I know that's about GMing. And I think
Fee and I actually went on to like the common room chat a little while back and kind of talked through some ideas that she had, and kind of I helped to kind of flesh them out and like put them in the context of a game. So hopefully she'll have something that she'll be willing to run soon.
Yeah, she's going to be actually watching a game tonight that I will be running.
Nice.
Fee, we can talk about that a bit beforehand too. I can show you my notes. So Elsador asks, leads to my question: what do you do when the big bad evil guy is killed, taken care of too early by the players?
This happened to me on Thursday.
You told me this story.
This was the most bullshit thing. I have never sat down in a game where I've been running as a GM and just openly said to my players, fuck you guys. And I did that at least 3 times in that game. Because, so the scenario is, the basic scenario is, there's this ruined castle, they've wandered onto it, and they have to get through the castle, and they're following a trail of treasure to find out where it goes at the end. This is in Hoard of the Dragon Queen from the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. So minor spoilers for this, but not major ones. There is a person who is staying in the castle, who is one of the big bad end guys, who's one of like the heads of the Cult of the Dragon, who it specifically says is supposed to survive until the second book. However, before combat had even started in that session, the party had collectively already rolled 3 natural 20s. Wow. So, yeah, so they managed to just get to where this person was with no opposition, because they just, like, deception check, natural 20, stealth check, natural 20, just constant throughout the whole thing. So they get up into the room, and as they're in the room, they've made this deception check saying, we're members of the cult and we need to speak to this guy who's, this person who's in charge. They get into the room, and in the room with the big bad end guy is a wizard who knows that they're not members of the cult because they've been traveling as part of a caravan spying on the cult for the last month, and this person was in the caravan. So he knows that they're not part of the cult, and combat breaks out. In the first round of combat, another 3 or 4 natural 20s were rolled.
What?
It was insanely... It was just ridiculous how many natural 20s were being rolled in that fight. So that character is now dead, who was supposed to survive until book 2. And the way that the book tells you to do it in Horde of the Dragon Queen is if the character does die earlier than they're supposed to, then just replace them with another black half dragon who has the same stats. And I was like, no, that seems really rubbish. Like, yeah, they've already killed that thing. Why would I give it the same stat block? They've already killed it. They killed it when they were 2 levels lower. Why would I give it to them again later on? So I have created a brand new person who is going to replace that character in the hierarchy of the Cult of the Dragon, and I've done their stat block, and I have made their stat block hurt.
Oh. Is it partially because you're bitter about what happened?
Sorry? Yeah, this is better because I'm better one. Yeah, because it was absolute bullshit that they rolled like 7 natural 20s before the first round of combat had finished.
That's crazy.
Matt, you know what you need to do now? All of your NPCs need to be wearing adamantine armor. Just
yeah.
Oh, look, they're immune to critical hits. Yeah, he's
oh, no, this guy is just gonna hurt them a lot. So it's fine. Yeah, but yeah, no, that was the thing that actually genuinely happened, and I was just like, oh, god damn. So
yeah.
But there's a lot of things you can do with that. Like if you're homebrewing one in particular, it's a lot easier. Revenge is a best dish best served cold. No, it's a dish best served relentlessly and violently.
Yeah. I'm Nandor the Relentless.
But you can do a lot of things with that.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that when they're killed early is to adapt the story, and so like Fallaize is like introduce a new villain that's worse, that they hate more. You can take someone that they already know and turn them into a villain. I have done the thing where, I mean, resurrection is a thing in, I would not necessarily advise this, but it was more of a conversation with me and the players because they felt gypped that this bad guy died the way that they did. They wanted a nice, like, climactic story, one-on-one battle with this villain, and so we discussed that, and so I brought him back crazy scarred, and they had this epic battle between the two of them. So you can bring characters back to life.
Yeah. In that situation, fair enough, because the players are all like on board with that. It is a bit of a cheap thing to do.
Yeah, that's why I say I don't advise it.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Discussed.
The situation I was in was actually not terrible because the villain structure of Tyranny of Dragons is it's a cult, and there is a hierarchy within the cult.
Yeah,
there's like, oh, one of the big bads has been killed. Well, that's fine. There's like a list of lieutenants that are just waiting to get that promotion. Yeah. So one of them takes on the role after that. But if it's like a homebrew thing and you've got like this major villain that gets killed prematurely, one fun thing that you can do is once they've killed the person and they like do their looting and their investigating, you give them something that gives them a clue that this person was not the big bad.
Yeah.
They were just
orders or something.
Yeah, they were like a lower down member of whatever the heck the big bad actually is, like a lieutenant for whoever the big bad actually is. And you just create a whole new big bad that, you know, the story now adapts to chasing after this person instead. Because the person that they just killed, who they thought was the big bad, is just a patsy or just a lieutenant.
Yeah. Did you have thoughts, Feargus?
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, I like the idea that the big bad might have had a family, and now their son and or daughter is coming after the party seeking revenge because you've killed their parent.
Their father, prepare to die.
Evil Ignigo mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or I mean, or you could just not, you know, have your big bad kind of squirreled away, ready for the end boss, and have all of the things that are happening in the world happen through minions and pawns and puppets.
The problem with that, though, is that when you have your main villain kind of squirreled away and never actually interacts with the party before the end, is one of the problems. Is one of the big problems I had with the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, which is such a weird thing to kind of bring up. No, I like the series.
I have not seen all of it.
Oh, okay.
And I abhor spoilers, mister.
Okay, I won't say anything. Fair enough. I won't say anything like spoilery about it, like who the villain is or anything like that, or what they're doing. But the villain doesn't really do anything until the end.
Yeah.
You never actually see him do anything. And just like, oh, cool, this is the big scary guy. I have no idea what his power's like or like how tough he actually is, because he's literally done sod all for 4 seasons. So
I can see that happen. Yeah. Or yeah.
Yeah, no, that kind of goes into his yeah.
No.
So all of this actually leaned well into his other question about what you do to keep the big bad evil guy away from the party entirely, or work through things through the pawns. I think the key thing, at least what Fallaize was alluding to and whatnot, is that you need to allow the players to hate the villain.
Yeah.
There needs to be a connection so that they actually care, and it makes the final fight a lot more satisfying when they're emotionally invested in it.
Absolutely, yeah. It doesn't even need to be a direct confrontation, but there needs to be some kind of interaction so that the party know who they're dealing with and why they're dealing with them.
Yeah. Like you could even have them confront the players early on, just make sure that they're powerful enough that the players can't actually hurt him or hurt them.
Yeah.
So then they can be overwhelmed with how powerful they are and like, oh shoot, we need to do a lot more work.
If you want a good example of a big bad evil guy that the players learn to hate and interact with a lot, read the Curse of Strahd campaign book, because all throughout that campaign, Strahd interacts with the players and is just a dick to them. Like, no matter what they do, he's just there, like, pointing and laughing and going, you cannot touch me, I am Strahd, I am the big bad vampire. And he just, like, shits on them constantly. And so by the time you get to fight Strahd, all of the party members are like, yeah, let's kill him, let's stake him. And it's a nice climactic fight.
Yeah.
If it lasts more than 3 combat rounds.
Unlike our
unlike your one, which lasted 3 combat rounds because they found a unique way of killing Strahd using catapult and a very, very handy magic item.
It's the best.
That's
high level.
Well, it's funny because you're talking about like Strahd laughing at the party. It's like, I think we just irritated him the entire time.
You did. That's why you got your nickname.
Yeah.
The Irritants, because you were just like he would do something and then you'd come along and stop him and you just go, I wanted.
That was a fun game.
Yeah.
That was a fun
game.
If you want to do the pawns thing, then the thing to do with that is you need to make sure that the main villain, if all the party you're going to interact with up until then are the pawns, you have to make sure that main villain lives up to the hype. Because I did a Pathfinder campaign for 3 years. It's called Wrath of the Righteous, and you don't really see the main villain of Wrath of the Righteous until the final encounter of that campaign. But all throughout, you are dealing with his lieutenants and his pawns and all this, and it builds so dramatically throughout the story. There was one villain, I swear we killed this guy like 3 times. Because like we killed him and then we killed him as a dwarf and then he came back as a death knight, and then we killed him as a death knight and then he came back as something else, and we're like, will you just stay fucking dead? By the point we got to that 3rd fight with him, and at that point we were just like, oh, we're okay, let's just dismember this guy, cut him into pieces and just ship him to different locations. Because can't keep doing this fight. But it builds and it builds and it builds, and it's whilst you do have the big bad of the story, none of the lieutenants are necessarily. It's all about demons, so all of the major lieutenants are kind of just out for themselves. So every single villain kind of feels like a big villain, and we had many interactions with these crazy powerful demons. There was one called Minago, who we heard about like in the first time we heard about Minago, I think was like third, fourth session of the campaign, and you don't kill her until right near the end. Like she's the final big villain you kill before you face the big villain, who is and when I say like live up to the hype, the big villain of that campaign is Deskari, the demon lord of Locust, who is the second most powerful demon lord of all of Pathfinder.
Wow.
Yeah, so and that was a fun fight. But if you're going to build up to something like that and not actually have the main villain interact with the party, that's got to be one big villain. That's got to be a villain that, by reputation alone, the party know is going to be a hard fight.
Yeah.
So, Rob's commenting on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a bunch of brothers as well. Killed the whole family, like 20. Oh yeah, the guy that we killed 3 times had 2 brothers. One of whom we took over onto our side. It was actually my character's like protege by the time that we dealt with him. The other brother was insane. The other brother we killed the other brother like twice as well. But he was insane. Like the first fight we ended up having with him, he summoned about like 12 saber-toothed cats into the fight, and
wow,
that was an insane one.
He summoned cats.
Some cats, like saber-toothed tigers. Like, Staunton Vane. Yeah, Staunton Vane as well. Like, there's some great villains in that campaign because it's a very dark campaign and it's very brutal. So the villains in it are also very, very brutal. Not kittens. No, these are like demonic saber-toothed cats. They were really, really freaking annoying.
That sounds awesome.
Pretty sure I went down in that fight because it was just like 12 cats attacking me at any time.
Yeah, one thing I was running Out of the Abyss for a short time. I didn't get through very far into the campaign, but we played for not even a year, but that was we played every week for a long time. But there was a character, an NPC, that died, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but he was supposed to come back later. Or he was supposed to be somewhere at a certain point and be evil. Because Underdark, everyone is evil to a certain extent, or have ulterior motives, because that's the way that Forgotten Realms works. But, so he died early on, and I was really looking forward to bringing him back as a lich of another demon that was like, I am not done with you, kind of thing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to that point. But that is something that, like, there are options of turning your villains into more monstrous creations as well.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
If you want help with that, I actually put together a homebrew PDF, which, if you message me on Discord, I will happily send you, because I'm still test playing it, where you can literally take an NPC or a creature and just change their type with a few modifiers on the thing. So
yeah, neat.
Only applicable for 5e, but it is that's kind of I actually used that in the villains game recently to quickly blag up a stat block for something that
we fought?
I was not expecting to. No, you haven't fought him yet.
Oh, okay. I thought this might be that devil thing.
Oh no, that's as written. That just exists in the system.
Oh, okay.
Is that my dad?
Fee, was that your dad? Yeah, it is actually.
Oh,
I took a stat block and I applied a modifier to it. So we'll see what happens with that.
What book was that devil thing in? Because
that was Morton Canaan's, I think.
Which one was it?
Okay.
Oh good. I think I sent you.
There's a chain devil and a.
No, it was the
it's like a big fat thing.
It's called the.
Oh, that thing was horrible.
Yeah, it sucks.
the big thing that threw you through a fireplace, and then paralyzed you with a crossbow. Oh no, it didn't paralyze you.
No, it didn't paralyze me.
Struck you with webs. It could have paralyzed you.
Yeah, no, that would have really sucked.
It actually has a paralysis arrow. I know it's Orthon. It was an Orthon. Although that is a big fact. It's the one right next to it.
Next to it. There you go.
That's
That's
what they thought.
That's
a scary monster. It's also very, very cool.
I did not like it.
Wow.
I had a lot of fun.
Exploded.
It didn't. It was supposed to, and then there was a lot of stuff going on in that fight, and I forgot that it was supposed to explode when it died. It wouldn't have done anything other than make Jack fail a death save.
Yeah, I think I missed the introduction of this monster because I was in the other room because children. But
it was it was invisible in the room because it has an innate ability to just turn invisible as a bonus action.
Oh right. Oh cool.
And so it was just invisible in the room whilst Helena was in there with
Hoxie.
With Hoxie and the Barb Devil, Dorian, and then after Helena kind of pushed a topic too far, this thing from invisible just grabbed onto her and threw her through a fireplace into the next room.
I came back and found out that she was through the fireplace. Like, oh well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun time.
No.
I thought I was getting somewhere in this conversation, and all of a sudden I'm through a wall, just sitting in a chair covered by bricks, and I'm like, oh, I'm suddenly very hurt. And then I spent half the fight stuck by webs, getting hit by everything within like a 20-meter radius, and it's just like,
that was a fun fight.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun for me.
Agnes was in the other room puttering about.
Yeah.
No, I was busy. I know it was mentioned putting NPC into adamantine armor to avoid crits being done by PCs. Have you ever had something die that had an OP magic item that the party shouldn't have gotten their hands on? How would you handle that sort of a situation?
Oh, blimey. I don't think I've ever had that happen. I think whenever I approach giving magic items to my NPCs or villains, I always act under the assumptions that the party are going to eventually have access to this item.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I could think out of that, if you did give an item that was too OP to a monster or to an NPC, would be to have some kind of effect where the NPC and all of their belongings disintegrate upon death, because that's a thing that some people have. Or just put a really horrible curse on the item.
Yeah.
That's just fun.
Yes. I gave the party a magic item that they found in a box with the Cloak of Billowing was in there, and there was a pair of gloves, and the gloves gave the user +5 to sleight of hand.
Wow.
However, when they were in a group of people of 10 or more, they had to do a wisdom save, and if they failed it, they were overcome with this need to perform, and had to perform for everyone around until they saved.
That is amazing.
Yeah, because it was the idea is there was a magician. There's a magician's kit.
Nice.
Kind of
I like that.
Yeah. So that was pretty entertaining.
We had one cursed item come up in villains, which Hoxie the Kobold got their hands on, which literally was cursed for like a day. Then someone cast a remove curse on it, I think, and it was no longer an issue. But that was like it was an eye patch that would give you huge bonuses on ranged attacks, especially with magic, with like a firearm rather than like a bow or crossbow. But the curse was that anyone who wore it basically just became super money hungry and would try and always get as much money as possible and steal and do whatever they needed to get as much money as possible.
Yep.
And
Hoxie got very rich very quickly.
Hoxie did get very rich very quickly, but the thing is, because it was Hoxie, their personality didn't really change because they already kind of did that. Like everywhere we went, they were just like, I'm going to just see if I can find someone to steal from.
Yeah.
So
it just became more impulsive, I think.
It became more impulsive very briefly.
What was really funny and also really annoying is that Hoxie picked up a gun, had that huge aim bonus because of the magic item.
Yeah.
Because he missed, and he's Hoxie, he went, oh, this thing doesn't work anymore, and threw it into the ocean. He was like, no! like the role player in me was like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. The
Minimaxer that lives inside of me was like recoiling in horror and disgust. I was like, why did you do that?
That's how I felt like when she used up all the different potions on it. I was like, no! Just give it to me.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Hoxie has thrown away so much, like, really expensive and, like, a valuable thing. Like, yeah, that gun, throwing that gun away was like, you just threw away a +2 bonus to attack rolls. Like,
but that's the fun of roleplay. I know that some people, that's not how they like their tables going. They'd hate games like that, but I think the rest of us are like, it is a bittersweet thing. It
was very much the role player in me was like, oh, that's really funny. Well done, Katie. But there is that tiny little bit of me that is like the hardcore min-maxer that I try to repress because he's not a pleasant person to be around. I was just like, why did you do that? Why?
Yeah. It is that thing like your brain's just going, no, stop this, don't do this. Yeah. And I think the potion one was the more kind of that was awful. Because that was hilarious. There was like, Hoxie just had a bunch of potions that they had found over the time, and was it Helena that went down, or was it someone else? I'm trying to remember who went down. I think it was
Jack.
It was Jack.
Was Jack that went down.
Jack, our bard, went down, and Hoxie just started pulling potion bottles out of their bag and feeding them to Jack, but that wasn't checking what they were, so...
Didn't know what they were.
Didn't even know what they were, so that Jack was, like, by the time it had gotten to a healing potion, where Jack actually came back to consciousness, he had had a potion of invulnerability poured into him, he had had a potion of...
Giant strength.
Giant strength, yeah. It just
that one hurts.
Crazy powerful potions.
That one really does.
Potion of invulnerability is so expensive.
It's so expensive. And it's like all these really powerful potions that are giving Jack huge bonuses. Like, the fight is over. There's no more things to fight.
I feel like everyone watching can feel the pain that I'm currently like just remembering that moment.
That potion of stone drying strength would have been really helpful.
Oh my god!
Because in that game, I'm playing Agnes, and she wants all the power and all the magic items, and so it's like being in that mindset as well. Just like, what, give them to me.
And you're just watching him essentially just pour them down the drain.
Agnes was in a different room as well, so she didn't know what was going on.
Oh, I know. It's
painful. Anyway, we should move on.
Yeah, can we please move on? I'm having like war flashbacks to that session, and it's not nice.
Okay, let's see. I have a bugbear I'm currently playing that it doesn't know how to count. So when he pays for things, I roll a d10. That is the minimum in gold he will pay for something, and I love my gold. He's also sold something for very valuable for half price. He even succeeded on his persuasion check. That sounds special.
Yeah.
Katie did something very similar in Everchosen, where
that was.
She's like, you can donate some money to the church, and it's like, how much money you need? It's like whatever you can spare, and just literally handed the church their entire coin purse with like 1,400 gold pieces in it.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And
I felt like
all of us were just sat there going, no!
Yeah, I felt like there's that wonderful moment when you're DMing where a player offers you something like that, and you're like, as a human, I can't take this, but as the DM, I'm loving this, and yes, I will take it, but I feel like a dick doing it because I know what the character's like, and I'm like, no, this is taking advantage of this person, but I'm like, but I must do it. I'm just like, I felt like such a dick during that session.
But it worked out okay because the rest of the party ended up going to the church and
threatening.
basically threatened and strong-armed the priest into giving back the money that some of the money that Hubert had donated to charity.
I find that slightly comforting that I'm not in the only party that has threatened priests.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a different situation. Anyway, I want to point out, so if you're watching for the first time, we are Wayfarers League, and you can check out us at wayfarersleague.com. We are currently trying to reach a subscriber goal of 20 subscribers, and you can actually use your Amazon Prime account for free to subscribe to us for a month, and that will help us get to our goal. And once we reach our goal, we will do a online, or we will stream a one-shot that will likely have Flourish as one of the players, one of the characters. And I believe Fallaize has promised to release an image of himself from a production of Hairspray.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't even a production of Hairspray. It was like a showcase, and the final number was a number from Hairspray. And so, yeah.
So, who were you playing?
I was playing Edna Turnblatt, the mother of the main character.
There you go.
Which is always played by a man in the show.
Yeah, and that will be put into our pictures channel on our Discord. So if you're not part of our Discord channel, you can go to our website, wayfarersleague.com, and join us. There's a link there to join us. We do online games. They're all free. And we are more than welcome to teach new players as well as new GMs. We are going to be, hopefully, we're talking about starting up our GM's Academy again, but it will be run more as workshops, but we still need to work out the details of that.
Yes.
You can also find our shop on our website, which has the first edition of our Homebrew Labs zine, where it has season 1 monster and magic item and blah blah, all the things that we make on the first season of Homebrew Labs. And we are currently trying to get the season 2 out on our YouTube channel, and we will put the second zine together probably later this year. Right now we're working on putting together...
Once we have time.
Yes, right now we're working on trying to get one of our very popular one-shots together to make available to you all. For those who have played it, Souls Within, so then you can take it and run it at your own table.
That's a good one-shot.
On our website, we also have guild members, so if you want to help support us, there's many ways of doing that. One way is subscribing to our channel here on Twitch, following and liking us here on Twitch and also on YouTube. And we have guild memberships on our website as well as artisans. The difference is that members and artisans both get early access to all our games when we put them up for RSVPs. They have their own members events page, but artisans also get access to all the content that we will be putting together over this next year for free. And so those are all exciting things. If you have any questions, drop them into the chat. We have probably another 10-15 minutes that we will be on answering questions. But I wanted to do the little spiel before we got to the end.
No, that's
very fair.
I want to mention one more thing. We have a party. We are going to be having a party at the end of the month. We are having a picnic during the day in person at Hyde Park. There's an event set up on the website to RSVP to, a picnic for families in the afternoon, and then in the evening we will be having a drinks and games and general hangout for 21 and up in I think it's the Yellow Door is the name of the place. And so Katie and I have plans for that, and we're going to be finalizing things, but come and play with us, come and join us for crazy shenanigans. We will have the run of that restaurant or at least that room. I think there's going to be karaoke too. I really hope that's actually going to follow through. There might actually be N64 as well.
Yes.
So we'll see.
I am so excited for karaoke. I have not done karaoke in so long.
Oh my gosh, same.
Because of lockdown, all of my singing gigs got cancelled, so I haven't really done any singing in public in ages.
Katie and I were talking about it, and she's like, I don't think we want to do karaoke. And like, she's just got karaoke, but I don't think. I'm like, what are you talking about? We have to have it if it's an option. You don't have to do it, but I want to do it.
I want to do karaoke.
I want to sing show tunes with people.
I can't think of anything worse than karaoke.
Then you don't. You can watch us. You can watch us sing.
The two mindsets on karaoke.
Yeah, I hate it. I love it.
I would, singing show tunes. I just love it so much.
Time to move to the UK. Yes, Fee, I wish you could come. We'll make plans.
Yeah.
Don't worry, this will be annual because the whole point of this party is to celebrate our 1-year anniversary of being active as Wayfarers League. And so much has happened this last year, and we will probably give speeches on the night and cry. At least me and Katie. Hi, Amber. We're really happy to have you part of the community, and I'm glad you're excited to play. It'll be good. Role-playing games are so fun. That's why we do what we do.
Yes. Oh, is this Amber who has signed up for my Call of Cthulhu game?
I believe so. I think she signed up for a couple things.
Yes, if so, super excited about that. Having a lot of fun reading my way through this wonderful, creepy-ass book.
Yeah, if you want to join the Call of Cthulhu game, I believe it's full right now, but join the waitlist because I might drop out. We'll see.
Yes, join the waitlist for Call of Cthulhu, more so than any other game, because I may open it up to more people depending on how, like, what happens and how things go. Because the game is, you can run this game with like 2 players and 1 games master. So it's the kind of thing where people can kind of just drop in and out as they go, and so it may be a bit more flexible. So if you put your name on the wait list, then you can then you might have a chance to play in future.
Katie and I were actually talking about streaming part of the party for anyone that wants to see our shenanigans. I'm sure it'll be weird.
I'm sure it will be.
But yeah, if there's Wi-Fi, then I'll be able to do it from my phone.
That's gonna be
weird.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. There's gonna be loads of really bad karaoke singing.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be okay. I hope.
I mean, there'll also I'm sure be very good karaoke singing. But yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, yes, it is Amber. That's okay,
excellent.
Yeah.
Rob will be bad but relentless. Rob, make sure that you RSVP'd. We need to poke a few more people to see if they've RSVP'd party, because I would like to have a really good accurate number of who's coming to both events. I've been poking Ted's my husband. I've been poking him to RSVP and he still hasn't done it. There's only one good...
I'm literally double checking, like, I'm sure I've RSVP'd.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Good.
There's only one good karaoke singing that I saw. It was Jewel dressed up as a common person.
I don't get that reference.
Well, Jewel, the singer, she was probably dressed up as a regular person. People didn't realize who she was.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Jewel is?
No.
Fallaize.
I will be singing Frank Sinatra.
Didn't she sing Arms of an Angel? In the arms of... I'm not gonna do it right now. I don't know well enough. If they use it like on this ridiculous commercial for puppies, and it's so sad.
I love when they use these songs in commercials and stuff like that, because it is really funny watching these songs that had so much heart and like thought put into them being just destroyed and commercialized in a really brutal way.
It hurts the most when I see Queen used in commercials.
Queen in commercials is...
Yeah.
It's so sad.
They used the song Flash to advertise detergent. It was just like... It was written as a title sequence to like a really epic TV show.
I mean, when you think about it, it is, in a way, it is good marketing, because the song does have the name of the detergent in it. So.
It does, but at the same time, it's just like, it's from a freaking TV show. It was like an opening credits to a TV show that was written by Queen. How is this? Oh, I don't know. Anyways. thanks, Brad. I'll have a look at that. I listen to very specific stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of like music from the 30s and 40s. I listen to
Yeah, like Billie Holiday.
A lot of Meatloaf and Queen, like the very big classic rock artists and bands. I do not listen to pretty much anything from after maybe the 80s. Not this. I see news stories and stuff like that come up, and it's just like talking about modern pop artists, and all I can sit there is go, I have no concept of who this person is. Like, I know the name Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
No idea who she is
I don't think
or
I've
what her
listened to
songs
any
are.
Billie Eilish.
No,
I've heard
I grew up
Ariana
listening
Grande
to-
sing a lot of things, but I've never heard her actually sing one of her songs. So I have no idea what her songs are or what they sound like. I've heard her sing in, like, she was in a production of Hairspray, so I saw her sing in that. But I have no idea what her songs actually are.
I think that it's a Brass, do you all not have radios in the UK? I don't listen.
But I don't.
You know, I don't listen
Listen
to the
to it.
radio. I listen to Amazon Music. I listen to things very deliberately.
Yeah.
I used to listen.
radios. We just,
I used to listen to the radio in my car, but then my radio decided to stop working, so I need to get it fixed.
All of the music I listen to, I have saved on my phone.
Yeah,
So-
same. I've got like my music taste is so weird because I grew up on things like The Who, Bruce Springsteen.
I love The Who.
Bruce Springsteen, Tom
I
Petty and the Heartbreakers.
I don't think I've sung Tom Petty, but I have sung The Who and I have sung Bruce Springsteen before.
And then because my dad is he's big into his like old school rock and roll, I kind of just fell down the punk rock like hole, and so that's all that my music is. And I listen to people now and I'm like, this isn't what I like listening to. And now I feel really old because I don't know who anybody is on the radio, and I just feel like I'm that old guy like, oh, music nowadays isn't.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, am I like that? Oh no, I don't like this feeling.
No,
So-
it's very true. But I think, because I am a musician as well, and people can actually see the piano. It's got a bunch of crap on it at the moment, but like the piano in the background. I am a musician as well, and I'm a singer, and I did all this stuff, and I did like the training. So when I listen to a piece of music, I'm not just like casually listening to it. Like, I can listen to a piece of music and isolate a single line of one instrument, and just listen to that single line of music. In the mix of everything, because my ear is just, I trained my ear that way, and I can't get out of that. And modern music doesn't have that layer of depth and like variety in it that classic rock had, and these bands from like the 30s and the 40s and through to the 80s. All of them had these kind of epic pieces of music that, if you see, you will have seen probably like advertisements, if you haven't seen the actual concert, of Metallica performing with a full orchestra.
Yeah.
And it's like, that works because Metallica's music is written in the same principles and using that same technique that classical music is written in, and it has these layers and these levels of depth to them. And modern music, you can't do that because it's not that anymore. It's drum tracks and it's electronic sounds. I mean, a lot of them don't even have melodic instruments in the songs. It's just drum tracks with a voice over the top.
I don't know if...
There is some. I call it like
It's such a random tangent for this.
I know,
No,
right? We should
this
be
game's
really...
not-
now we're talking about music and music taste.
It's just completely different. It's kind of like our Discord server, actually.
Yeah,
It is.
Do you
the
want
GM's chat where we end up on a random train of thought, and that takes us far away outside of the realms of tabletop RPGs.
but
I mean,
like,
we could circle it back to tabletop RPGs by talking about music in games, but
Yeah,
we
I've
could.
downloaded some appropriate error appropriate music for
How
Call
did
of
I start
Cthulhu. Sarah started. I think we all kind of just went down the rabbit hole of talking about karaoke.
Yeah.
No, that was it. It was the karaoke rabbit hole.
Fallaize, you should watch some.
Rob, Rob, come on and join us if you have a lot to say.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in the chat.
You should Fallaize, you should check out Walk Off the Earth. They're a Canadian band. They're not probably, you know, it's not necessarily orchestrated and super in depth, but they're very creative in the instruments that they use and how they use them in the covers. I love their covers.
To be fair, like I get this sort of thing a lot, and I kind of go, yeah, no, I'll check that out. I never check them out.
You should watch. They're my favorite band. I love them.
I listen to the same stuff I always listen to.
Well, I'm gonna drop a link for you then.
That's fine. You can do that. I probably won't click on it.
I'm so scared to share like my music tastes with anybody because I don't want people to listen to what I listen to and then start going like, why the fuck do you listen to this weird shit? And I'm like, because I like it. It's fun and it's... So yeah,
Billy Joel. I'll listen to Billy Joel all day.
Billy Joel. I never got into Billy Joel.
I love Billy Joel.
My friend really likes it, and I'm just like, I don't understand. And he's just like, why don't you understand? This is really good. I'm like, no, I know. I can hear it's good. I just like, it's just not me. It's valid. Like,
I am not a Michael Jackson fan, but I appreciate that Michael Jackson is an incredibly talented musician. Like, I appreciate how good he actually is, but it's just I'm not into his music.
I can, Brad, I can listen to anything but country.
I can listen to anything but country. That's amazing.
I don't know. Yeah. There are some damn good country songs out there.
Every rose has its
I should go.
No. What's the country song that I was listening to on repeat all of yesterday because I couldn't get it out of my head? It was really good.
I can listen to some. What's his name? He's like one of the most famous country singers.
Is it? Oh, what's his name?
I'm surprised you know who Michael Jackson. I'm not that. It's not that I'm old. Like,
no, not Willie Nelson. Ring of Fire guy. There you go.
Oh, Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. I can listen to Johnny Cash because he's not twangy. He's not twangy country.
Oh, you know,
I like the folk side.
He's
of
like
stuff too.
soulful country. Right?
Yeah. I can't do pop country or twangy.
No, I can listen to country. Again, but it does depend. Like, it depends on who.
Yeah,
there's a lot of this stuff.
I found the song that I was listening to on repeat all day, which is a country song. It was called "Too Old to Die Young" by a guy called Brother Dake. I don't know, but I found it yesterday and I was like, this is really, really good. And
yeah, no, there's a lot of really great. I've been at the moment listening to just a lot of 20s music just because just because of Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah. So bringing it back around, music, depending on the genre, can really help elevate your games. A lot of the times when Ted and I we play board games, we will pick music that fits it, that go along with it. Like we'll always put on creepy horror music when we play Betrayal, and it makes it that much more fun.
I was like looking through all the stuff that I kind of normally would listen to from like that era, and I was like, oh no, all of this stuff came out in like the 30s. And this is a game that's set in the 20s, and the one I was most disheartened of is the song "Why Don't You Do Right" by Peggy Lee, I think her name is, which was also covered weirdly by Jessica Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, I love that song, and I'd love to just have a section in the game where I just
you do right. I love that song.
That's like some other men do.
Yeah.
Although she does it very slowly, and the original was very quick.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'd love to have a scene in like a speakeasy where you have the 20s flapper girl on the stage, and she just kind of walks out. You had plenty money, 1922.
Yeah.
Just do the whole song. But yeah, I'm trying to learn how to do a flapper voice.
You can the soundtrack for BioShock.
Yeah, no, I think it's. I honestly, I literally just googled Call of Cthulhu era music, and there was a bunch of playlists on YouTube. So I downloaded one and uploaded it into Roll20.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got some good, cool 20-star music, and it's quite nice because it's also, I think they're like original recordings that they've taken as well. So it's got that kind of like lovely old school crackle to it as it plays. And then I'm gonna get I gotta find some like proper like creepy stuff as well so that I can have that element too.
Yeah, Fee, jazz is great. I love it.
I
clean the house to big band jazz. That's my jam.
Absolutely.
That and the Diddy Bops, which have a really nice 1920s like girl band sound, kind of folky at times as well. They're great.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, the music in games is such a big thing. I almost always try to run a game with music in it, and make use of music in my games. Thankfully, with things like Roll20, people can just like turn the music off or down for themselves if they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, same with Foundry.
Yeah, same with
it's perfect.
Foundry and Tailspire if people actually have it, because that also gives you that option. But yeah, it is just a big atmospheric plus when you can have that sound, because we as a species can much easier associate emotion to sound and smell than we can sight.
Yeah.
So you can't really do much with smell in D&D, although you can get like candles and stuff like that if you're in. You describe the smells, but like you can actually get scented candles that are for like D&D games, which is quite fun. You can get stuff like, is meant to smell like a tavern, or
I got one for Katie for Christmas this last year. I got her some random one. I can't remember what it was.
Well, now I'm gonna have to go and buy scented candles. Thanks, Matt.
Well, the only thing with the scented candles is it only works in an in-person game.
Yeah.
We currently do not have the means of transferring smells across the internet.
No, Katie's running the Darkest House for the community for us in a separate game, and her soundtrack, man.
Oh, I don't like it.
I was trying to do something. We just played. It was just me and Fee the other day, and there's this one soundtrack that is just this ominous sound, and then there's just a banging. And it's not coming from anything in the game, but it's so creepy.
It is that game is at the same time
that game
the most horrible thing I've ever played, and the best. I love it so much because I hate all of it. Like, there is nothing about that game that I like, which is why I like all of it.
It's the horror story mentality, which is the just in answer to Emma's question there, what do you think of a Flapper Girl bard at nightclub singer for Call of Cthulhu? You can 100% play a Flapper Girl nightclub singer in the Call of Cthulhu campaign. They wouldn't be a bard because the system doesn't have bards per se, but it's
that's actually something that I was considering being. I haven't looked at anything in the materials, but in 1920s, I was like, I could be a Flapper Girl.
Yeah. Yeah, you can 100% be a Flapper Girl. I think Fee's looking at being a musician as well.
We could be a band.
Yeah, but that would be it. Like you'd be like a group that performs in a speakeasy or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the regular kind of like booked in people. So yeah, there's a bunch of really cool stuff. Someone who wants to be like a ghost hunter, which is quite funny. We've got someone who wants to be an investigative journalist who was formerly in the military.
Rob, a dungeon sewer candle scent is the worst idea I have ever heard.
Yeah, but it's also something I can 100% see Rob doing. And yes, your Mortborg game, playing Mortborg was very good fun, and it was just amplified by the fact that the whole time we were playing, there was just death metal just playing in the background the whole time. So that was a fun game, because that was another game where it's just like, this is super messed up. Everything we're doing is really messed up. So yeah, I really love this. an actual newspaper journalist. I don't know. We haven't really kind of fleshed that part out yet. We've got our session 0 in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be about a week and a half, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's not like D&D at all. It's essentially. I mean, you're playing normal people.
Yeah, you're just playing humans.
Is it playbook? I honestly haven't looked at anything at it yet because my brain couldn't handle it at the moment. So is it playbooks or is it much more freeform?
No, it is character sheets. The character sheet, I will show it, but it might look a bit intimidating because there's a lot of skills and they're all listed. But that's the character sheet. Okay. Yeah, so you can see there's quite a lot of stuff, but for the most part, it is really pretty straightforward. I'll probably do a blog post about it after the session 0, kind of talk about how the game works. But essentially, every stat and skill has a number, and you roll a percentile dice, and you're trying to roll beneath the number to be successful. Okay. And sometimes, like harder challenges, you have to get less than half your number, or in really, really hard challenges, it's like less than a fifth of your number, which starts like that. Even when you have like the highest number possible, when you're getting like an extreme success, you've got to roll below an 18 on a percentile dice. Right. Like it gets those are like the ridiculously hard challenges, like things that people are like pushing the bounds of what a person should be able to do.
Maybe I'll play someone super incompetent and just see how well they do in extreme situations.
That's completely valid as well.
I kind of did that to myself because we're playing Exalted, and we're doing a airship campaign, and I made my character scared of heights. So I've kind of crippled myself in that way, but
well, the biggest one in Call of Cthulhu is sanity,
right?
Because it's all based on sanity, and so as you progress through the story and you learn more about the Cthulhu mythos and the horrors of the world, you lose sanity as you go. Yeah. And you can regain sanity as well between sessions, but the idea is to try and just hold on to as much sanity as possible before the end, so that when you do actually find the big thing at the end that you have to, whatever you have to do, you're still sane enough to actually do the thing.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah. I've been reading through the skills, and it's very good fun. And so, because you make your skill roll, you roll your percentile dice. If you fail the roll on certain, unless it's a combat skill, you can push yourself, which allows you to re-roll the roll. However, if you fail the second time on a push, that's when something really bad happens. Cool. But there are an alternative set of things. There's this is what could happen if you push yourself on this roll and fail. This is what could happen if you're insane and you push yourself and you fail.
You're just making me want to play it more and more. It's just...
I know.
I really want to play this.
But it's there's a nature skill. I can't remember what it's called, like natural wilderness or something like that. Natural wilderness or something like that, where it's about being able to identify plants and survive in the wilderness. And if you're insane and you push yourself on a roll and you fail, the book literally goes, you basically just go native and just start. You go native, you strip down, you just start running around in the woods naked, living basically a feral human until people come and find you and bring you back to civilization.
Nice.
It's just...
I'm just living my best life, man.
Yeah. So there's like a whole separate set for insanity. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Sanity is going to be a good time then. Well,
oh yeah.
Good. Yeah. We have gone a bit over time. I want to thank Fallaize and Feargus for joining this afternoon, and Absolutely. We will be back again next Sunday for another GM's chat. This Tuesday is the first episode of season 4. Season 4
of Homebrew Labs. Fee will be joining us. To create a monster.
Yeah, so that'll be Tuesday at 9 p.m. BST. So come back here and join us. Like and subscribe to whatever you happen to be watching this on. And we will see you all next time. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.